First of all, I want to say that, can you hear me? Okay. First of all, I want to say that you all make a really impressive sight. You look beautiful here, all of us coming together with a shared commitment. I wanted to start with a couple preliminaries. One of them is that this is the only red I could find this morning. I woke up in a panic thinking red, red, red. Fortunately, I found a red tide, so I did that part. It's all downhill from here. Secondly, I'm from Louisiana. I'm the product of a public school education in Louisiana. My parents were public high school teachers. And I have to say, I've always been very proud of that. Recently, I had a conversation with students in one of my classes about heroism. What do we think it means to be a hero? What's the purpose of a hero in our culture and in our civilization? Why do we have them? And who do you think are the heroes? They were coming up with names of basketball stars and baseball stars and football stars, all of whom I've never heard of. And they get paid, of course, billions of dollars every year. They get to have commercials and they get to be celebrities and everybody talks about them. I dare to suggest that those aren't heroes. Those are just people that we celebrate because they entertain us. The real heroes are, I actually said it, people like teachers, high school teachers. A baseball player, a really good one, sure, can hit a ball very far over a fence and run around the bases and get home in time not to be out. That's great. That's fun and entertaining. But let me ask anyone here, are you any better off? Are you any better off when somebody hits a home run? You've had a good time. It's been fun. Is anybody here better off? Meanwhile, here's my mother. She would get up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning before anyone else was up. She would start to get out her materials to plan teaching. She would catch up on the grading she needs to do. Somehow she would get some breakfast together, scoot the kids out the door. She would get to school at 8 o'clock. Maybe she might meet with some students ahead of classes. She would teach all day. She would have a half an hour for lunch. Then after school, she might help load buses. By that point, it's 4 o'clock. Then she has to go back in the building. She has parent-teacher meetings, or she's meeting with students after school to help them with their studies. On the weekends, she would go on field trips for which she would not be paid compensation. Or she might be attending other activities, going on field trips, going out of town. She would work up to dinner, cook dinner, then she would work after dinner at the dining room table, grading journals and such. She wouldn't get to bed till 11 o'clock, and then she'd get up again the next morning and do it all over again. Those are our real heroes, and we are better off because of them. They deserve our respect, and they deserve our celebration. And they deserve our acknowledgement. In the past months, I suggested today that I talk about the larger context for what's happening in this state with specific reference to public policy concerning education. I have been going and participating in, speaking in, rallies across the state from Charlotte to Kingston, just south of here. I would and so we are here today, and it's particularly gratifying to me to be able to talk to you here on home base at East Carolina University. The issues are this. It's right to assemble here. It's right to say that we do not accept legislation that attacks our public schools, our teachers, and our children. 5,000 teaching positions have been cut by the current General Assembly. Over 4,000 assistant teachers have been cut. 4,000 assistant teaching positions have been cut. Tenure for teachers has now been eliminated, making teachers vulnerable when they most need stability and security. Our teachers have over and over again been denied a raise of salary. Now our teachers are earning 15.7% less than they did a few years ago. In 2008, North Carolina ranked 25th compared to the other states in teacher salaries. I didn't consult the same poll that David apparently did. I'll have to check his footnote. The polls I have read say North Carolina now ranks at the very bottom of teaching salaries in the entire United States. Instead of investing in a race to improve our schools, this state is apparently racing to reach the very bottom of teaching salaries in the nation. Now the state does not allocate any additional pay increases for those teachers who willingly further their education by getting advanced degrees. So high school teachers who pay out of their own pockets to get their master's degrees will not be acknowledged for this professional enhancements in their salary. Now our hard-earned tax dollars are being transferred by vouchers to private schools. 170 new charter schools could be opened in North Carolina in 2015, including 39 in the Triangle and 43 in Mecklenburg County. This will cause a drop of $11.8 million in public school funding per year because of people leaving the system. So, $10 million is sent to private schools instead of $11.8 million invested in public schools. Your tax money. Instead of investing to support public education, the state is actually spending millions of dollars to undermine it. This is an unjustifiable and inexplicable catalog of public policy. It amounts to the worst bundle of legislation witnessed in the past 100 years in the state of North Carolina. These laws, including the privatization of public schools, threaten the cornerstone of our democratic republic. They violate, in fact, our state constitution. These laws directly impact every one of our 1.5 million children enrolled in public schools. These laws have set us on a course that will end public education as a common good in this state. There it is. That's the issue. What I would like to do now is suggest some of the context, or some of the contexts, to step back for a moment with you to look at what is happening all over this state and to share some words about context and contexts plural. First of all, this anti-education program is merely part of an array of repressive legislation affecting all aspects of life in North Carolina. The majority in the North Carolina General Assembly has enacted legislation that also restricts voting rights, voting access, particularly for minorities and college students. Boo, big boo. This legislation recently enacted cuts, denies federal Medicaid to the needy. And it denies federal unemployment compensation for the needy. The state of North Carolina, the General Assembly, the majority in the General Assembly, is promoting fracking, which potentially has serious consequences for our environment and for the water that we drink and depend on. Context 2, we are not an island. I can tell you everywhere, all over this state, tens of thousands of people are standing up. They stand together all over this state with solidarity, for education, for decency and justice, in the Forward Together and the Moral Monday movement. People of every ethnicity and every color, rich people and poor people, straight people, gay people, Democrats and Republicans, they're standing together in front and in the lobby of the General Assembly in Raleigh. They are taking part in rallies all over the state. They're on their feet, they are marching, they are speaking out, they are singing, they are chanting for social justice, for voting access, and for an end to this repressive legislation. Hundreds stand together as they have been arrested for peacefully exercising their First Amendment right to be present, to witness, and petition for the redress of their grievances. We have not only a right, we have a responsibility for justice. We will not be told what we can say and what we can't say about policies that are wrong, unconstitutional, and unjust. Here's the last. How am I doing on time?
We should probably wrap up. Sorry. We got 4 more.
Here's the final context. We live now in a historic moment. This time is no less momentous than the civil rights era of the 1960s in this state. That was a time and place of both racist repression and the courage to make a better, more just, and decent society. Martin Luther King understood that education was not less a civil right than access to the voting booth. And King said that to make justice, including education, not just a dream, it will take a real fight. A nonviolent fight for sure, but a fight nonetheless. What we must understand is that what is happening right now, what is happening today, what is happening between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock, Tuesday, November 4th, is not just a moment, it's a movement. Okay. Decent people are standing up all over the state. And we need to recognize, we can recognize that this is a time that we together can make a difference. Thank you very much for your attention.